What's up, everybody? I am out and about. Been out and about since like 7:30. I'm not a morning person, but I wanted to pop in with you guys. It's been some time since I've done an unpopular opinion show and also Food for Your Soul vlog. It's because back in May I mentioned that I was taking a spiritual sabbatical. I am still in my process of restoration. I am still in my process of God revealing things to me, my paths, and different things that He's presenting before me to enhance Avis Cherie to work on self. And I encourage everybody to do that. When you feel a nudge in your spirit, just like the quote I put up the other day, I was speaking to someone about reflection, introspection, looking within, and being unapologetic. We say we're unapologetic, but even myself, I find myself explaining sometimes to people all that I do, what I do. And you've seen that the most I've done socially to stay engaged was to celebrate myself. Sometimes there is so much going on and we don't give ourselves time to breathe, slow down and acknowledge our victories, slow down to celebrate our wins. Like I was taught, it was vain and arrogant to celebrate yourself. Let somebody else do it. As a matter of fact, I was told by a family member that when I started writing my books, why should I tell my story? Let somebody else tell the story. Let somebody else praise and acknowledge. And I was like, huh? If I wait for somebody else to do it, it'll never get done, because I was letting my spirit to reveal things. I was letting my spirit to do that because of what I'm called to do in life. My purpose is not because of the wins that was going to give me popularity to tell my business or self-disclose. Going to be successful in God's time because God led me to do it. So when that family member mentioned that, let somebody else praise you or this and that, that's that old school way of thought, because we realize now even family members and so-called friends, they'll see what you're doing and act like you're doing nothing. So if you wait for that all the time, then you may never get it. So in the last series of vlogs about celebrating yourself, and even when Snoop got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he said, I want to thank myself. The odds were stacked against me. My bio used to say against all odds. Because as a teen mom, I never was poured into, right? It was all my decision, poor choice, poor decision making, young decision making, but I had my 4 children, right? I was never poured into words of encouragement that I would succeed. I waited for so long for people to see my accomplishments. I waited for so long for people to attend my ceremonies of graduation. I waited so long for validation from my loved ones that taught me, let others praise me, let others celebrate me, to the point where I wasn't even used to celebrating. I wasn't even used to celebrating myself. I wasn't even used to hearing the cheers, but from 1 or 2 people. And for me, that's like things that need to be broken off of us as well. Curses that need to be broken off of us as well. Those are thoughts and trains of thoughts that needs to be demolished and annihilated. Those are things that tear you apart because you're looking for something that you may never receive. You're looking for something from people that may be incapable to even give that to you or even desire to give it to you because nobody gave it to them, because that's an old school train of thought. Those are things that need to be de-rooted. So when you're in warfare, you're praying and you're asking God to annihilate and bind it in heaven and bind it on earth and loose you from things. That is things like that. Train of thought contributes to our wounds and our wins, right? Train of thought thinking that you have to wait contributes to your mental health, your building of your tolerance, your confidence, your self-esteem. It all pours back into those things. So if you're waiting all your life and you never get it because the people before you and the generations before you were taught something that needs to be unlearned, then we're out here hurting, doing self-harm to ourselves and others potentially, because now we're transferring that train of thought to the next generations and our children. So for me, as a young parent, I always get asked, how did I sit down and say, Avis, how you gonna do this? What my model was for myself, because there was a lot of lack in my upbringing, as far as encouragement, as far as believing in me, as far as before the kids, as far as abuse, as far as a lot of things. What I chose when I realized I was going to be somebody's mom, because when I sat at the table and started to have these children early, I said, you know what lack feels and looks like. You know what a deficit feels and look like. You know what it feels like for somebody to take from you, to not pour into you, to not believe in you, to not do X, Y, and Z. So on your watch, there's no excuse for you to continue that behavior. What you are called to do and mandated to do as their mother, as being the gift to being their mother, is to pour and overpour and outpour into them what you never received. That is your challenge. It started at the inception of me realizing that I was pregnant. Those thoughts transferred to my child. Any thought I had transferred to my womb. Anything I was learning or needed to be unlearned emotionally, physically, verbally, mentally was transferring to my womb, to my child. So these things didn't start at labor. The labor pain started at the onset of me saying, I'm going to carry this child. So it is my responsibility to unlearn bad behaviors, bad trains of thoughts, start to demolish those things and pour into. That means nurturing my child in the womb, going to every doctor's appointment, eating right, living peaceably as much as possible, learning who I am in this body, as this mother, as this gift of being this child's mother. Because I didn't wait to meet my son or daughter to say I'm going to be the best. I was the best as a carrier for my child. So when I talk to young adults, which my passion is talking to young adults, male and female, young mothers and young parents that's thinking about it. Whatever you want to give birth to starts in the womb. Just like when God gives you a vision, God says it is so. This is what's going to happen. It doesn't start when it happens. The nurturing of the ground that you're setting this thing on, the nurturing of the ground and the planting of the seed takes care. It takes proper time. It takes attention. It takes tending and massaging and cohabitating with it. It takes getting to know that thing, getting to learn what to expect as a result of planting this seed. So I vowed as a person, one, as a woman, two, and as a mother, that before my child gets here, we're going to have a relationship that you can identify my love for you, my passion for you, my thankfulness for you, in spite of the trial. So God said, okay, I'm going to stack all these odds against, I'm going to allow these people to stack all these odds against you. And I'm going to see how you turn. Are you going to become abusive like what you've seen? Are you going to neglect? Are you going to abandon? Are you going to put yourself first? Are you going to not pour into them? Are you going to do all the things that was done to you? Because now you know what that looks like. And if you know what it looks like, it makes you responsible. Just like when you learn the word. Once you learn God's word, we are accountable. Okay? So I can't say I'm ignorant or didn't know how to pour into my kids, or I didn't know how they would feel if I abused them. Because guess what? I know what that feels like. So I'm a first partaker in something that I can change the trajectory of somebody's life. That is responsibility. That is accountability. That is servant leadership. That is breaking chains and curses. People walk around and talk about sacrificing their life and breaking chains and cycles of generational curses. But when you step in that thing, you find yourself in that thing, and you are not only breaking it, but you have to break it off yourself. You understand? Sometimes you're put in a position where you are finding yourself literally standing in the very thing that you broke. And the testing ground is, are you going to nurture it? Or are you going to abandon it? Are you going to nurture it? Or are you going to neglect it? So that's kind of how I tell people to identify with what their call is early on. That's how I tell people to identify. If you say you broke chains, if you say you standing in the gap, if you say these things are not happening on your watch because you come to break a cycle, your test will be very, very similar. It might even feel like it's even worse, but you can identify with that test, because if someone else failed on your watch about you, then it's your call and duty to not fall on the next person's watch. So that's what I come to tell you today. Celebrate your wins, celebrate yourself, break the old school train of thought of that's vain or arrogant or egotistical. No, because if you're waiting on somebody, if they wasn't taught how to pour into people, if they were taught jealousy and to keep it closed and keep their mouth shut and act like it didn't happen, they're going to do the same thing to you. I'm a living testimony. It's so many people that can say what I've outpoured and overpoured and overstood about their situations, but it's not as many people. Since I was a teen mom, I can still count on both hands only how many people have risen to the occasion to celebrate me, that have seen my strides, that have seen my efforts. But as I evolved, I don't become angry anymore. It doesn't hurt me the same. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm sensitive about my ish. I am a human, and I do reflect, and it do stun me, and it do prick me, but it don't kill me, and it don't destroy me, and it don't tear me down anymore. I don't inflict self-harm in my thoughts about where I've come from and what I've gained and what I've attained and what God allowed me to see and do. I don't let that tear that down. I still know that I'm victorious, and I still know I'm in the winning seasons of every day of my life. So, boom, there it is. All right, this your girl on her spiritual sabbatical. I wanted to pop in. I think I have quite a few emails for Unpopular Opinion Show, so I'm going to do that. And as God releases me to come back full-fledged, I will. But I am enjoying retrospection. I am enjoying introspection. I am enjoying God showing me, telling me about me, and fine-tuning me. All right, until next time, this is your girl, Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Ava Cherie, the Inspire. I hope you're enjoying your summer. All right, until next time, guys, love and God's peace to you all.